Aziza, your writing is not only passionate, but it's inspiring, and your story is absolutely amazing. I would love to represent you in becoming an author of one of the biggest publishing houses in the world. Well, that is if you can convince your ex-husband to get back together with me. Hey. I'd like to welcome you to the first episode of Self-Published. I'm Aziza Kibibi, and I'm an author, an activist on the protections of women and children, a chef, a media personality, a mom, and a survivor. Please allow me to share with you some details about how this is going to work. Along with a narrative from my blog, Unashamed, an open book, some of the things you can expect from this podcast are comments and questions from readers and fans, sidebars of drama from behind the scenes, and tips and advice on self-publishing your own stories, whether it be as a book, a podcast, as a public speaker, and some of the many other ways you want to make yourself public to the world. Links to resources will be in the show notes, and be sure to subscribe for notifications on future episodes. Oh, and one more thing. Make sure to follow me on Instagram and Facebook, and subscribe to my YouTube page for inspiring and informational videos on preventing and healing from abuse. So now, without further ado, thank you for allowing me to grace your eardrums and penetrate your mind. Let's do this, Brutus. The blog post. Dear reader, so I finished writing the manuscript to my memoir. It's 35 years in the making and 3 years in the writing. Now I'm on to the next phase, publication. For those who are just getting to know me, my name is Aziza Kibibi. Most people think that I'm from another country, but I am a born and bred Jersey girl. I think the best way to introduce myself and explain why I decided to share a memoir with the world is to include a version of the query letter I've been sending out to literary agents. But before I do that, let me formally introduce you to the theme of this blog. While I go through the traditional steps of book publishing, which is a long, tedious process that takes a lot of patience, I will also be moving forward with publishing my book myself. I will share with you on a weekly basis my trials and triumphs through both these processes, as well as events and reflections of my everyday life. You can kind of consider this reality television in print. My life has never been what most people call normal, and with an unusual foundation, the building turns out, well, unusual. With that being said, here is my query letter. Dear literary agent, meet Aziza. She's a hardworking single mom of 5 beautiful children that she is very proud of. Most men describe her as mysterious, free-spirited, and charming. Most women find her confident, smart, and witty. But little do they know is that from 10 years old, Aziza was raised as her father's sex slave. Oh, and the first 4 of her 5 children are also her brothers and sisters. This book is a true story of my life. Beginning in what was the present at the time I started writing, it follows the hospitalization of my 4th child by my father, who was physically disabled, which was also during the criminal case brought against my father by me and my sisters. My memoir is the tale of how surviving my childhood, adolescence, and young adulthood has shaped me into the woman I am today. I am the eldest of 9 children by my mother, and including my children, whom he fathered, the eldest of over 21 by my dad. Using events from the present as a vehicle, the history of my life unfolds beginning with the birth of my 3rd child by my father. I describe how my father delivered my children at home, save for one who I gave birth to on a campsite in Florida. I take the reader on a journey through my sheltered life in a polygamous family where I was homeschooled, molested, beaten, and trained to satisfy my father's every sexual desire, to how I coped with my husband cheating on me, with one of my sisters no less, which led to our divorce. I describe how while growing up, I watched my father turn from a loving, talented, respected member of the community into the abusive monster that God spared my own children from growing up with. Via my transition through adolescence, the reader witnesses my failed attempts at protecting my younger siblings from the fate I had befallen. My father's video directing career, where we interacted with hip-hop royalty from the 90s, such as Queen Latifah, Yo MTV Raps legend Fab Five Freddy, Lauryn Hill, and Wyclef Jean of the music group The Fugees, and the events that led to the discovery of our family secret. In my adulthood, I shared the excitement of my romantic relationships, the challenges that come with being a single mom, and how I lived through the death of one of my daughters. I also addressed what it's like to be in a family that's on a never-ending road to recovering from the dictatorship of my father, and how I was able to forgive my mother for not protecting us from her husband. At 113,554 words, Unashamed, A Life Tainted is a tale of tragedy, growth, resilience, survival, faith, and forgiveness. My portion of the trial against my father is currently in court. I had to graphically testify to his sexual exploitation of me as a child and young adult. He has been found guilty of all charges and faces 50 years of imprisonment. Sentencing is scheduled July 26th, 2013. I want to share my story with the public because I feel I have a moral responsibility to other women, men, and children that may be affected by child molestation and incest, both victims and victimizers. I have not repressed the torture that my father inflicted on me, yet I function normally in life, love, and relationships. Despite my limited homeschooled education, I am currently an A student pursuing my associates in communications, my first classroom experience, and have won 3 Women's Opportunity Awards from Seroptibus International for my writing. I also published a blog journaling my grievances and acceptance of my daughter's death. Thank you for your time, and I look forward to hearing back from you. Let me know what you think about my query. This is a platform for communication. I welcome any advice, and I will answer all questions to the best of my ability. If you are willing to share a story of your own, I embrace you with open arms. I've spent most of my life in secrecy, deception, and darkness. Believe you me, I am enjoying everything the light has to offer. Let's do this, Brutus. Comments. Anonymous, July 30th, 2013 at 11:23 a.m. Dear Aziza, how do you do it? How do you get up every day and get on with life? You are very brave and courageous to tell your story. It's difficult reading about the things you've endured, and yet you're able to live life and not allow yourself to wallow in self-pity. There are people who have endured far less than you and wouldn't dare share their stories due to their own personal reasons. I'm really at a loss for words, but you are a true inspiration, and I have no doubt you're helping many, many people by sharing your story. Much success and greatness to you and your family. My reply, July 30th, 2013. At 12:30 p.m. Hello, Anonymous. I will answer your question in the order you asked. 1. One step at a time. I don't focus on the past, and though I have many reminders of what happened to me, children, financial issues, my dad used my credit when I was younger, some of my children have medical challenges, etc., I handle them independently from my abuse. And though I have faith, I don't impose expectations beyond my own ability to make shit happen. 2, I am no longer suffering, so I'm thankful for every day I have the opportunity to make my own choices and affect my destiny. In my eyes, every day is full of so many possibilities, so it would be a waste spending time licking my wounds. I thank you for your own bravery in communicating your thoughts and feelings. Your words are very encouraging, and it warms my heart to know there are people like yourself who care in the way that you do. Be blessed. Sidebar. Now, if serendipity is on your side and the Orisha are working in your favor, you may have direct contact to an editor who works for a major publishing house. This is where networking and social equity comes in. Ironically enough, I actually did. My ex-husband was dating an editor for one of the largest publishing houses in the world. I sent her my query letter and my manuscript. She read it, or so she led me to believe, and after a week or so, she even got back to me with terms and conditions. They are as follows. Aziza, your writing is passionate and inspiring, and your story is just amazing. I would love to represent you in becoming insert one of the biggest publishing houses in the world whose name is akin to a bird here, published author. That is, if you can convince your ex-husband to come back to me. Wait, what? Okay, so hold up. You mean to tell me that my literary future is dependent on the rekindling of my ex-husband's relationship that I didn't even know was over? I called my ex and I said, you owe me. You're going to have to take one for the team. My suggested tips and resources. The intention of a query letter is to introduce yourself and your book idea to a literary agent. In the past, you would send this directly to a publisher, but these days, publishing houses only work with literary agents. The Writer's Market is a book that has listings for literary agents who may be looking for the next James Baldwin or Anne Rice. A new edition is published every year and contains the most updated guidelines and trends of the publishing industry. It's full of samples, what not to do's, and contact information for book publishing industry leaders. After reading about 50 different sample query letters, an endless amount of blogs giving advice on how to write a query letter, and every professional contribution on writing a query letter in the Writer's Market book, among many other things, my query letter was the result. Abracadabra. Yes, it is done. Thank you so much for listening. Just a final reminder to check the show notes for links on resources and to connect to me online. My book, Unashamed, A Life Tainted, is available on Amazon and in other bookstores. And if you would like an autographed copy, you can get one from me on my website. Proceeds from all of my merchandise goes to programs to prevent child molestation, domestic violence, incestuous abuse, and sexual assault. Follow my Instagram at Aziza Kibibi to stay connected and learn about free giveaways. And on that note, until next time, be blessed, for you are definitely a blessing.